Hello everyone and welcome to Season 6, Episode 37 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches of 2021 with match number 14 on our list, which is the SmackDown Women's title match between the champion Sasha Banks and the challenger Bianca Belair from the WWE WrestleMania 37 Night 1 event held on April the 10th of 2021. WrestleMania, kind of weird, that during the pandemic era, we had WrestleMania 36, which was, done in the studio setting. WrestleMania 37, we weren't quite sure what was going to happen with it, in all of the lead up. But ultimately, we got it in a limited crowd. And it turned out to be a pretty enjoyable, pair of shows for me. And this main event really had a lot to do with it on night one. So this was a main event that was made the main event by the pushing of the fans. And ultimately, it turned out, and the main event for night two was great as well, but it turned out to be the best WrestleMania main event in quite some time, in my opinion. You had, some sloggy, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, main events, and, Reigns and Undertaker, which kind of didn't go over great, and, the pandemic studio matches, which one was cinematic, and, the other was a 3-minute Brock Lesnar match. So this really felt like a WrestleMania main event that was needed. You had the women main event, WrestleMania 35. I was there live for it. It was ultimately a little disappointing. It was at the end of a long show. But what I really liked about WrestleMania being broken up into the two nights is it, made for shorter shows, more action-packed, less getting, shoved in onto the program, and therefore less burnout. So, 35 was one of the longest days of my life sitting through that event. So by the time this women's, historic triple threat main event happened with Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, it was really hard to kind of stay into it. But here, this match had the most crowd heat of the night, which was amazing because that's what the main event of WrestleMania should. Both of these women are incredible, pro wrestlers that they get pro wrestling. I've said that about Sasha Banks from the first moment I ever saw her in NXT. She just gets it. I said the exact same thing from the first moment I saw Bianca Belair in NXT, that she just gets it. So putting these two together is a natural fit. And this really feels like the equivalent of, the Sasha Banks and Bayley, NXT Brooklyn match, where it's just, the best heel woman you've ever had on the roster, one of the best babyface women you've ever had on the roster, colliding in this big time title match with the crowd, completely into it, completely behind the face, and willing her to victory. And in my opinion, I think this is even better than the TakeOver Brooklyn match, to be quite honest. And something that they do so well, be it intentional or not, this match puts over the value of the title so well. Because, at the start, you have a really emotional Bianca Belair. This is someone that, is grinded and made it to this WrestleMania main event relatively short into her career, but that deserves to be there and was put there by fan reaction. And, you have her getting emotional at the start. But something that I love, and where Sasha Banks is so good, one of the best pro wrestlers of her generation, male, female, I don't care. That is how good she is, in my opinion, is that she sees this genuine emotion coming from Bianca, and she could get caught up in it as well. And, maybe she does for a split second, but she uses that emotion, be it intentional or not, into the story of her match. And it makes her seem so much more unlikable because of it. She, it tries to exploit, Bianca's emotions and try to take advantage of her and play those head games. And I talked about that. If you go and watch my NXT season, which was season 5, and I talk about the Banks and Bayley matches, and I talk about, Sasha Banks really trying to get into the head of Bayley and show that she's not worthwhile and that she doesn't deserve to be there. And Sasha tries to do that and, kind of backs Bianca into the corner and gives her like a big hair whip down to the mat. and is just so arrogant about it. But, you know, it shows, it puts over the belt that, you know, Sasha cares more about being champion than this historical moment of the two women in the singles main event of WrestleMania and everything that's getting Bianca choked up. This woman just wants to retain her title. She's in here to do business, hold on to her belt, and leave. But the thing I love too is it shows that Bianca is like no challenger than, you know, Sasha's ever faced, because Sasha was able to do that with, you know, with Bayley and really get into her head. But Bianca here is on point and on her game. She does a kip up from that you know, getting thrown hair first down toward the mat. Sasha tries to Irish whip her, and she does like a front flip out of that. She catches Sasha coming in on a charge and slams her. She goes for a standing moonsault, but, you know, sees the miss coming and lands on her feet. She does, you know, the kiss my butt taunt that she does, and she almost gets Sasha with the KOD, the kiss of death, and it causes Sasha to have to backpedal and retreat into that same corner that she just backed Bianca into at the start of the match. And I loved it. And Sasha is so good, you know, obviously Eddie Guerrero is her hero, but you really see it shine through where she can be this amazing babyface that just, you know, pulls you into her performances, but she can also be this dastardly heel that's so menacing, you know, that you hate her so much, but she can also show all of this vulnerability, but never does it make you sympathetic for her. It just makes you hate her even more. She's so good, and, you know, not to talk all about Sasha, Bianca is not along for the ride with this match. She plays her part to perfection so well. And one of the things that they use in this match, and it leads to all of these incredible moments, and something I should say about this match too, it goes less than 20 minutes. I think it actually goes like 18 or something. So it is it's out, it's done. There's no, you know, over the top, elongated melodrama stuff in this match that, you know, we see in so many WWE main events now. It never feels overproduced. It's the perfect package for this match. And it really summed up, you know, this kind of great little fun, easy to watch WrestleMania night that it capped off. And Bianca, you know, they have her do all of these great power tricks, but they keep going back to her super long ponytail that she has. And it kind of crafts the story of Sasha being dastardly, using everything she can to her advantage, including that ponytail. And it leads to this great moment of comeuppance at the end of the match that we'll get to. So, you know, they have Bianca doing all of this overpowering, and Sasha gets her first opening when the ponytail kind of is around the ring post, and Sasha's able to pull it and send Bianca head first into the post. She tries to follow that up and hits this like great tope. A lot of the women in the WWE, Sasha Banks, Liv Morgan is another one. They have like great topes because they almost land them into more of like a cross body when they're coming through, and they like crush their opponents with them. They're really, really good. So Sasha hits this great suicide dive, but Bianca like catches her and rolls back and through, and then presses her up into a gorilla press slam and proceeds to walk up the ring steps just in this incredible, incredible show of strength. And toss Sasha over the ropes into the ring. And something that I love here is Sasha rolls through that, you know, really using her smarts and her high ring IQ. So you get, you know, this great moment for Bianca, this show of power, but then Sasha, you know, still gets this little bit from it where she, you know, rolls through and blasts Bianca with a drop kick as she's coming in through the ropes, and she immediately goes to cover. And I loved that so much because, you know, it's again, going back to the start and Bianca getting emotional. It's the biggest platform. It's the biggest stage. It's the WrestleMania main event. You want to show out and show off like Bianca just did, but Sasha cares about winning. She's going to go for that pinfall attempt everywhere she can. The amount of just crazy power spots Bianca gets in this match is amazing. They put her over so well, you know, en route to her title victory. She hits this power slam where she's doing all of these squats during it. But how does Sasha come back? She grabs out the ponytail when Bianca is mid-handspring, going for a handspring moonsault, ties her up with that ponytail and uses it to start delivering all of these knees and a Meteora for 2. They do like this tug-of-war with the ponytail over the post. Bianca this time kind of pulls Sasha into the post, so they play that spot back. Sasha misses the Meteora into the barricades. And Bianca again gets this amazing power spot where she like rolls through into a deadlift vertical suplex and then hits like multiple slingshots off of the ropes with it. And Sasha keeps trying to counter it into a small package, and Bianca like twice just deadlifts her back out of it. It is incredible, incredible power stuff. But again, what does Sasha do? She goes back to the ponytail over and over and over again. She tries to use it for like a lucha arm drag. She gets caught with a forearm. It leads to this great Bianca, near fall run where she gets a standing shooting star press, gets the glam slam to shout out to Beth Phoenix, goes for a 450 from the top, but hits knees. They trade roll-ups. Again, Sasha going really desperate, trying to end the match. Bianca gets a triple powerbomb, which is crazy. But on the last one, Sasha counters it into a face buster. Shout out Billy Kidman. You can't powerbomb Kidman. You can't powerbomb Sasha Banks. She hits this great tornado DDT where she actually does 2 spins, kicking off the ropes a second time. Hits the Eddie Guerrero frog splash for 2. So they go into this great near fall run. And again, like I said, never overstaying their welcome, but making everything mean something in all of these big moves. It leads to this spot where Bianca gets caught in a tree of woe. Sasha goes for like a diving Meteora, misses it, misses the charging double knees in the corner. Bianca finally hits the 450. It's only good for 2. She goes for the KOD, sees that she has victory in reach. Sasha again uses the hair to counter. She, gets a shoulder into the post for Bianca. She ties her up with the hair while using the bank statement for extra leverage. Bianca's somehow able to get out of that and get the ropes. But when she's going for this final KOD, Sasha uses the hair one more time to counter out of it. And I talk about that moment of comeuppance. It leads to, and we've seen Bianca do this before in NXT, but she just whips Sasha with the ponytail. And it is the craziest, stiffest whip I've ever seen. It makes this insane sound. It leads to this huge gash of a slice on Sasha's midsection. Again, it's just this brutal moment of, Sasha Banks using that hair over and over and over again and getting all of her advantages throughout the match with it, that finally, it bites her in the butt. She pays for it. It's that big whip, the KOD. Sasha tries one last counter out to go for a backstabber. But again, Bianca is so strong, she's able to muscle her back up into the kiss of death for the 3 count. A great cap on an excellent match. It ties in the story of the strength overcoming, the use of the hair and all of the dirty tactics. Good wins over evil. The post-match celebration is everything that pro wrestling is about. Bianca Belair's family is at ringside going insane. One of them almost falls over the guardrail. I talk about this match putting over the belt with Sasha's willingness to win. Just the sheer elation and emotion that Bianca Belair has with the belt. And she's literally like jumping up and down, running around with the belt. It makes that title seem like the most important thing in the world, which it should be to any professional wrestler. I loved this match so much. I had high hopes for it because I'm such a fan of both of these women. When they were given the main event spot, I thought that could either be, a plus or a minus for the match, depending on if it got, really overproduced and melodramatic. They didn't go that route. It's one of the best WrestleMania main event matches in recent memory. One of the best WWE matches in recent memory. Both of these women should be incredibly proud of themselves for it. And it just goes to show, what greatness can be produced in the WWE when they stay out of their own way and just allow a simple match full of great moments with a hot crowd and the right result. Sometimes wrestling is just that simple. It's all you need, and it creates a magical match and moment like this one. You can watch this match, of course, on Peacock. If you're outside the US, it's available on the original WWE network. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again next time as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.